Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon. It's Shirley with Spirit of Matter. And I want to talk about Chile's chart because Chile is having the eclipse visible in its area. It's visible in Chile and in Argentina. So I'm going to go over these charts. And as I open the Chilean chart, I find that they're having not just eclipse, but eclipse of Rahu reversal, basically Ketu on Rahu. So not only the eclipse is visible on Chile, and I have to give you the omens that I got, okay? You know that before I do an episode, I get omens, and I even tried to do an episode on Nexit because just something happening in the Netherlands, and it wouldn't let me film because I had to record a Chilean episode before that. And I'll go with the omen before I even address the chart. And the omen was, I knew a person from Chile, and she had two sets of teeth, and she constantly had growing teeth, so she constantly had to do very complicated surgeries to remove these teeth. And before that, before the eclipse, I was getting it's funny because sometimes I get channeling of the face of the person and their teeth structure. So I guess I'm supposed to learn a lot about teeth. It's just, I don't know. I guess Saturn Pisces is giving that. And the teeth structure was reminding of a ship. Like I'm not joking, but it's also reminded me of a whale. And two things come in mind. The first is the whale prophet of kind of like the Nineveh eclipses, the Nineveh set of eclipses, the repent and so on. But it was just so funny that eclipse is happening in Chile, and that's the thing that I got with the Chilean country. So this eclipse is basically having Ketu very close to the Rahu, conjuncting the Rahu of Chile. So not only is it visible in Chile, it's also nodal reversal, which is another a set of fated events. Why was I seeing teeth that look like sheeps and whales? I don't know. And if that's not enough, Venus, that's ruling Rahu for Chile, is in 9 degrees Scorpio, right conjuncting Venus in our current eclipse. So I have no idea what's happening in Chile, but it's going to be very powerful. And I just could not ignore the pivotal changes, okay, that are happening. So there's something with the energy of this eclipse brings that is of companionship to Chile. And to get to the bottom of this would require in-depth research. But if I'm going to try to sort of like intuit of where it's going, it's mainly, well, if you think about Rahu to Ketu, Ketu can mean many things. Ketu is both where we have our biggest fight and when we let go of something. It's both when we detach and are genuinely benevolent, but also where we play unfairly even. And this is teaching of Ernst Wilhelm, teacher of Vlada Doncheva, who's expert on Rahu and Ketu. So my prediction is that Chile is moving towards a place where it's going to put a huge fight that may or may not be benevolent. And to think that their Venus is ruled by Mars, which is ruler of Rahu, It's telling me that that fight serves both edges. So it's both telling me that something is of two-edged sword, but also that the fight is serving of both comfort and progress. Okay, they're comfortable with fight. They're comfortable with discomfort. They're comfortable with war, um, and that can take many forms. Okay, so um, and again, war or conflict can take many forms. Um, this vicinity to the natal Venus, it means it's right after the Venus return for the country. And Venus can denote us of diplomatic relations. It's both our possessions and values, but it's also connections. Um, the idea of soft power, the idea of hidden power, because Venus is in Scorpio. The idea of the interconnectedness that happens in the deep waters. And as Neptune is approaching Aries, it would be approaching the sign where Rahu is. Okay? So I haven't checked the news. I will check. But I believe that this fight is also internal and very related to the dream state. Okay? With Neptune conjuncting Rahu in Pisces. And this tells me that Neptune in the natal chart is not too far now from where the natal Ketu is. Okay, sorry, Neptune transiting natal Ketu is not in action, but we are moving towards that in the coming decades. Okay, the coming decade. And that can be denoting of perhaps a time where a nation can remember its past or its more global past. And this is giving kind of one of the potentials is the desire to have connection with the motherland or the noble past or the mythical past. This is where something can get Nazi Germany risky, but mind you, that was not just Nazi Germany, okay? The age of ideology where people sought to connect with their mythical past is true both to the Eretz Israel Shlema, okay, the whole is country of Israel, which includes Iraq and Iran, the Egyptian ideation, the ideation of Egypt land by the United States, which is why they're here. Um, the Palestinian recall of their connection to the land for 9 millennia, which has nothing to do with Satanic Muslim Brotherhood flag that we see today. You may or may not be able to say same about the Israeli flag and flags in general. And that is something that we see, okay? People coming back to the tribal origins, the discussion of who is the illegal immigrant, Donald Trump or a Diné native, or Diné indigenous, because native just means you're native to the land, you were born in the land. Of all Americans that were born in America are native to the land, but are not indigenous. Or okay, so that is another perspective. And this is according to indigenous people. It's not I invented it. No. So what can happen in Chile is some memories of a mythical past guiding diplomatic Venus hidden moves. So I have to admit, this is completely new area to me. I have not touched Chilean politics, I think, ever. Maybe a class or two that I was in the back of the mind. And the teeth, the sheep, the whale. So teeth is Saturn, and Saturn in Pisces. The ship. And remember, and mind you, I was remembering a friend, a woman friend. It was Venusian. Okay. Um, and the story for this friend, what she told, why she's not living in Chile, because she loved her home country a lot, was because of the shootings that were happening in her city. She felt safer in the state of Israel. Okay, that's where I met her, and she felt safer to live in state of Israel. We have continuous war since 1948, than to live in a city in Chile because of the shootings. So for women alone, no, recording. For women alone was not safe to live in city in Chile. It was safer to live in a state of perpetual war, which is the state of Israel. So that comes in mind for how this the teeth can denote of the sheep and the whale. Teeth is karma, and I don't know what would constant growing teeth mean, but it necessitated a lot of medical intervention for the situation. And we think about um, the whale, or the prophets of the whale. The whale can also denote of Al Qaeda. Okay, we had eclipses, lunar eclipse in Pisces, which would be opposing Al Qaeda. So think about the big whale protection. The whale could be associated with the Nineveh prophets, of making a prophet, professing basically in a foreign country that is enemy country. And the story for Nineveh is that okay, the prophet was swallowed into the belly of the whale and then vomited literally on where he should be, and he gave the prophet, and Nineveh repented. So if I would ask myself, okay, what is the prophecy for Chile? It can either be that Chile serves as the prophet, and that is a part of what is happening, diplomatic relations, or that that this reading is given a prophecy for Chile, that there are forces that are going to promote mythical ideation of the ancient Chile, perhaps a larger territory Chile, and it's given Hitler if they do that, because that would mean mandatory army recruitment, that would mean all many things that we don't want it to mean. Again, I know nothing of the politics of Chile. I don't know what the government, what type of government. I don't know, and I don't know if it's related to current government or not. Okay, I just don't know. I'm just saying there could be rising force that tries to connect you to the distant past. And remember what happened when it happened to Palestinians. Okay, that lack of compromise that essentially created the demolition of Gaza, and not by Israel, but by the West, which is having a real estate plant here, and by United States that want to conquer Egypt, and in all these forces, that if you suck into that narrative, you succumb to that narrative, there's gonna be refugees on refugees, like these teeth keep growing, and there's no accommodation for them inside literally the mouth. Okay. So there's something that could be happening there, um, where it's not the nodal reversal, but more so the vicinity to Neptune that causes this need to be cautious about ideating the mythical past and about land expansion when it comes to that. The notion to women is it's always very important. Anything that's to do with war, invasion is also Venusian. Aphrodite is the goddess of war and love. And it's important because when Aphrodite is not loved, A, there is war, but B, people are going to be treated like Aphrodite. And so, very important to have deep appreciation, to have safety for women in the cities. I think that that is a lot of something around this comes up. Safety for women in the cities, because Saturn is stress as well. And that's just okay, just intuiting from the chart and the omens that came before that, the what is the issue, and the risk can have to do with water. Okay, the risk can have to do with drowning. Okay, with the flood, and drowning can be drowning in war or bloodshed, or can be drowning in literal water or flooding. Um, um, so those hidden relationships, the relations to how we treat the feminine, the ship, the women, um, can be some pivotal changes can occur right now in Chile. So this is episode one. I will make another episode where I take a look at the news, what's coming up, and see where would that leading. But the fear is more of people going into mass psychosis and reminiscing about the mythical motherland, while in fact they're being recruited to war, and they have to be really cautious that these forces are not treating the feminine wrong, because that would mean for Chile something so intense that it can be like Nazi Germany. And that's totally unexpected for me, because I wouldn't think that would come from this country that we don't hear a lot in the news about right now. So thank you for watching.